pretty much all it says is don't paint the sprinklers, don't hang things from them, don't obstruct them. They're there for your safety, if anything happens. So I always tell people just try to steer clear of them, honestly. They're not gonna go off if there's not an issue with something, right? So if you look up there, you can see kind of in the middle of the sprinkler head, there's a little red piece in there.
Yeah.
That's glass.
Okay.
So the way these sprinkler heads work, once that sprinkler head reaches, I believe it is 180 degrees, that glass will break.
Good. And that's when it operates.
Yep.
Got it.
And then that's whenever the water comes out. Now it's not like the movies or anything. If this one breaks, only this sprinkler head will have water coming out of it. Okay.
Okay.
So more sprinkler heads will break as the fire spreads, if that makes sense. Does that sound good? Okay. Yeah, just steer clear of them as much as possible. I've heard stories of people hanging pinatas from them for birthday parties, and they swing at the pinata,
And the water.
break the sprinkler, and then the whole birthday party's wet. So yeah, just steer clear of them as much as you can. And again, this is more so just telling you what you can and can't do with them.
A quick question here.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said it's a Pennsylvania regulation that to have a sprinkler in the basement.
So it is a Pennsylvania regulation to have sprinklers in a new construction home of 3 or more units attached to one another.
Oh,
It's basically townhouses.
Yeah.
So if you buy a single family house or even a duplex,
You can't
it's
see that.
not necessary. Well, it's not required. You can still put them in, but it's not a code requirement.
Understood.
When you have this many units, 3 or more dwellings in one building, if you will, at that point it becomes code.
Understood. Okay.
Yep. It is code though in Maryland
To have the sprinkler.
to have the sprinkler system in
In any
everything
new
except
construction.
for a single retail dwelling under 10,000 feet. And I only know that because of the Dollar General they built in my town. And 6 months after it opened, a kid took a can of hairspray and a lighter and made a human flamethrower and
Oh my.
burned the entire thing down. And they didn't have a sprinkler system right after they built it. That's the only reason I know that. Sorry.
Good to know that. I like
Yeah.
stories.
So this next one, this is our concrete letter. This pretty much tells you how to care for your concrete, how to, if it's snowy and there's ice on it, that's the biggest thing with this letter. Through here, let me find it really fast. Yes, so right here it says salt and de-icing chemicals will chemically attack the concrete surface and cause permanent damage. So essentially, concrete takes very long to fully cure. Even though these have been built for probably about 8 months, it definitely, the concrete somewhere down in the very middle of it probably still isn't cured all the way yet. So that de-icing and the salt will actually eat away at the concrete and make it start to break away and just start to look bad, essentially. So if you see right here, it says,
The dimensions are not covered by the water.
yes, I'll get to that right in a minute. This right here, it says actually to use sand or kitty litter.
Oh, okay.
That's what we suggest because it'll give you that proper footing that you need whenever there is ice and you're trying to walk on it, and it won't tear away at the concrete.
Understood.
Okay. Now the other thing in this letter, the other big thing, all it's saying is that physical damage to the concrete caused by shovels, picks, plows, those kind of things, that's not covered by Gemcraft because obviously we can't control that, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much that. This next one is for the asphalt driveways. And it is pretty much the exact same thing as the concrete letter.
Okay.
It just says, physical damage to the asphalt caused by shovels, picks, plows, blades is not covered by the warranty. We also suggest using sand or kitty litter if there's ice. Okay, pretty much the exact same thing, except one's asphalt and one's concrete.
Okay.
These next ones, and these ones are, I don't really want to say useless right now, but this is more so for after we build a home and somebody moves in and their lawn is still planted, right? So whenever they don't have grass yet. This is just our lawn warranty letter. It's pretty much saying, once you guys move in, you guys will be responsible for the upkeep on the grass. You know, if there's bare spots, things like that, fertilizing, overseeding, watering. It's pretty much just saying, once you guys take ownership, it's not on Gemcraft anymore, it's on you guys to keep it up, okay? And then, yeah, so right here, once again, watering and fertilization are not the most important things you can do for your lawn. Watering and fertilization will be much less expensive than reestablishing a lawn which has not been fully nurtured in the critical first year. Yes. So good news is that these have been built for a while and we have watered them and, you know, got a decent yard in, okay? Which these are also going to get mowed one last time before you guys take ownership, okay? Then next one's here.
A quick question there. So it's only the backyard, that's where we have the lawn, because front yard.
No, the front yard's just got the stones.
Right? That's good.
Yep, so you won't even have to worry about it.
So
Now this one, you'd have to worry about the side yard.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
and the same thing with the other end unit. In that one, it's not as much because it splits with the other building. But this one, they're responsible to the end of the road.
Okay.
So these next ones, and these ones are kind of important. With the townhouses being slab on grade, meaning like no basement, I think that these are a little less important, but still important to go over. This is all about controlling moisture in your house. So essentially, the biggest thing we want to do is prevent mold, right?
Yeah, of course.
So mold needs three things to grow. It needs moisture, lack of airflow, and a food source, okay? Can't really control the food source because mold will eat just about anything. The other two things we can't control, the moisture and the lack of airflow, right? Biggest thing, and Gemcraft tells us to tell every new homeowner, it's always a good idea to put a dehumidifier in the basement in an unfinished area, something like that. There are sump pumps, which are under your steps, which I'll point out here shortly. You can actually put a hose from the dehumidifier straight into the sump pump, and you can just...
So you put one in this closet.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Exactly right.
Just run the hose to...
Yep, and
Exactly right.
and it is open from the side of that closet to under the stairs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you should be able to just run a little hose, you know, behind the furnace or something like that, and just dump it down into the sump pump. Okay. The other thing, and 9 times out of 10, moisture in a house is a bigger deal if there's a basement because you have all of that groundwater sitting against the foundation walls. So the good news is these are slab on grade. We're above ground everywhere we go in here. So, but again, if you guys put the dehumidifier in here and it still feels damp, which I haven't felt dampness in here yet. So I really don't think it's a huge issue, but then they tell us to just throw like a fan or a box fan, something to just move the air a little bit and just make it not as stagnant. Does that make sense?
But normal day-to-day living with heat and air conditioning will move the air.
Yes.
If you throw in a dehumidifier.
People just opening up the doors and walking in and out of it, you know, but they're, you know.
And like I said, with it being all above ground, you're gonna have air moving through here and everything's finished except for that little closet. So you do have, you know, supply lines and things for HVAC and all of that stuff. So there will be air moving, but again, Gemcraft just wants me to tell you guys that just as a precaution. And then this is gonna be the easiest one to go over. So this is for, and I've never put it in a Gemcraft house. This is for a lawn irrigation system, so like built-in sprinklers in the yard. So I just marked that it's obviously not applicable. But yeah, so those are kind of our signature sheets. The other couple ones, ooh, sorry, I threw it a little bit. these are probably the first or second most important things in this binder. Okay, so this is all about if your new home requires service. Okay, kind of what he was talking about with, you know, making a list and doing all of that. So here, sorry, I have to like show a couple things together. So on the back of our binder right here, this is our service manager's business card. Okay, so it has our main office address, and then it has, this is our main office number, our service manager's extension, and then his fax number and his email. Okay, so if your new home requires service, and I'll fill this out a little bit better tomorrow probably, but I will put Gemcraft's main office number here. I'll put the service manager's extension here, and then this is pretty much just saying, actually, let me run to my truck really fast. I just want to grab something.